Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's so funny. Whenever you hear this word, it's always taken, most times, in a negative, but it's not always a negative. And the word is karma. What do you think of? You hear the word karma right away, you have a certain picture. We're going to talk about karma today. What is it? The types of karma, answer some of the questions you've always had, and learn a lot more. She's a Reiki master, intuitive life coach, clairvoyant medium, and she's back with us. And it's Joan Widen. Welcome back, Joan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Now, before we talk about karma, we're going to go back to last time where we were talking about manifesting what you want. And we're just going to add a little bit to that, right?
That's correct. I just wanted to go over the steps because we digressed a little bit. And so I just wanted to say, when you manifest something, you have to see it in your mind's eye. So you have to make sure you can see it. You can actually feel it. Know that it's true. And if for some reason you don't feel that it's true, you have to let go of those fears and any way you can, because otherwise that's going to stop you from being able to manifest that in your life. And then at the end of that, when it comes, you just say thank you. You should be grateful for everything in your life, because everything in your life, whether you know it or not, was manifested by you.
That actually hurt a little bit, but it's the truth. It's you created it. It's all yours.
We are the center.
You could have had whatever you wanted, and that's what you asked for, whether you knew you were asking for it or not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we are the center of our universe, right?
It's so true. It's so true. And be thankful you got what you got, whether you wanted it or not. Either way, you asked for it. So I guess be thankful that you got it.
Absolutely.
Even though you might not have manifested it properly, which is more reason to manifest the stuff you really do.
That's right.
Want.
That's why you really think and feel. That's why the negatives are easier to manifest, because we really feel it deep down, right? So
we're gonna seg into karma now, and I don't know if this is a transition here, but
kind of is.
Can you? This is bad. This is bad. I'm bad energy here, but I'm curious.
Okay.
Can you manifest bad karma for someone, or can you manifest that karma will take care of someone as they should be taken care of?
Okay, so in my beliefs of karma, that would not be. So if you try and manifest bad karma or bad energy towards someone else, that's slinging back at you, right? So when you point at someone, right, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So so even the word saying, karma's a bitch, right? That also can also mean that you're throwing the bad karma over to someone else. So we really have to watch what our words are, right? So even if they really, really irritate you, right, and downright just piss you off, you just had to take a deep breath and just go, okay, all right, know that we had something to do with that, and just let it go, right? And for me, I actually say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And so then it just kind of goes, you know what I mean?
I've been told that the I love you part can be optional if you're really not feeling it.
It doesn't matter, because it's not really I love you to them. Do you know what I mean? Because it's you love the universe and your universe around you. It's about you and what is around you, not necessarily external to them. Does that make sense?
It does. And thank you for saying that. I don't know if I shared with you, I did a while back a hypnotherapy session for forgiveness.
Oh, and no, you did not.
Oh, yeah,
that
it was interesting.
Like fun.
It was in a way. And it's so funny because I didn't know. I thought the practitioner specialized in forgiveness hypnotherapy, but it was just one of the things that he offered. Doesn't matter, but it was so, I said, yeah, I'm going to hop on board with that. Very impactful. But one of the things you say, And the way it's done is you visualize as you're hypnotized, the person you're forgiving. You don't condone what they did. You're just forgiving them for yourself,
Right.
but you're facing them and there's an imaginary glass in between you. So there's some separation there. And just what you said, and part of it is, and I love you, I forgive you, blah, 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 blah. And I even asked him, I said, do I have to say the I love you part? But now you're saying that it is more of the universe. If you think it in that term, it's all about the intention,
Yeah.
then that's cool. I get that. Yeah. All right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was. I didn't even know it was, a thing, but it was very impactful and very vivid. Like you think that you are facing that person, your eyes are closed and
Yeah.
and in that hypnotic state. So when we talk about karma, of course, there's good karma, there's bad karma.
Right. And you
Define
can bank
karma.
it.
Let's go right down, down to the basics here.
So karma is Sanskrit for action, right? Movement, or what else did I say? For one's deeds, and then the cause and effect of one's action and deeds. Yeah.
So is it reasonable to believe that you do good things will come back to you? Not that you should be doing them for that reason, but just in general.
Absolutely. But again, to that thing, if you're just doing it because you want the good karma, guess what? That's not really good karma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not being it's only self-servient and not for others as well, right? So good karma is, you really have to know it and feel it and believe in it, that you're really doing this for someone. Like, I guess there are, like donations, and because some people are not used to giving their money, and so that's a little bit tough for them. Right? So that, in a sense, is a little bit of the good karma, but at the same time, it's a bit because that's, Scrooge, right?
Yep.
I don't want to give my money, and then they don't really necessarily get the benefit of the karma of it returning, because they're still hanging on to the negative of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the fact that we're even talking about this today, I don't believe there's any coincidences. Today is Random Acts of Kindness Day.
Oh, is it? I had no
It
clue.
is. And you could just do anything you want. It doesn't even have to be on this day. Just, I've gone through a drive-through and paid for the person back of me. Came up with this idea. I won $10 with scratch off lottery tickets. So I was thinking, my friend who bought the ticket says, all right, well, you know what? I got a feeling, go buy 2 more of these types of tickets, because I got a feeling. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'll just buy an extra ticket for $5, whatever it might be, and just give it to somebody. Here you go. Good luck. And just leave it at that, random act of kindness, just because it feels good. You feel
Right.
good, not for any other reason, not like you want to get the karma back. Listen, if it wants to come back to you in a positive way, I'll take that. You'll take that. But it's, that's not the intention, not the intention.
Absolutely. And you don't necessarily have to buy anyone anything. You just even have to say hello. Most people just walk by each other and they're, and everyone's like, oh, this is kind of weird, right? And everyone just goes about their way. Yeah, the other day I was at the DMV. I was registering my vehicle, and it honestly felt kind of like a jailish because they still all had the COVID stuff, right? So everyone had their own kind of segmented places to sit, and it was all enclosed, right? And so I smiled at someone and I said, oh, this kind of feels kind of weird, doesn't it? And he started laughing. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, did you grab a ticket? Because there's one, they're serving the one, and the next person is me. And he goes, oh, no, I'm just waiting for them. And I'm like, okay, great. But, in that moment, you could tell he was kind of iffy, like, I don't know if I should be here or what I'm doing, even though he was just waiting for a friend.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
That's even another thing to make somebody feel comfortable. You might notice somebody's, just uneasy about a situation. You're in the waiting room of a doctor's office and somebody looks like they're fidgeting, like, I got to take a blood test or whatever it is. If you see them, you feel their energy, you have nothing to lose. Worst could happen is they don't respond, or they say, yeah, and then look down. All right, that's their choice. Or, we have a fear of rejection too. a lot of times you're upset,
Absolutely.
you know?
But see, I'm one of those weird, quirky people that's like, oh, well, like my kids are like, do you know that person? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you say hi? And I'm like, why not? And they just kind of look at me like, mom, and then walk away. I'm just like,
Why
does
not?
it matter?
And you know, that's the best thing you can teach your kids, because especially nowadays with devices and everything, yeah, our kids are so not social anyway. So change that up a little bit. Let's talk about bad karma. So when
Okay.
people do things that they shouldn't be doing, they don't take the high road, they don't do the right thing. How does that come into play?
How does that come into play? So bad karma really, honestly, sometimes it's on the beliefs, right? Because those people don't typically care. They have no care in the world, right? And if things come back to them, they don't care because they're like, yeah, whatever. My life is kind of meh anyways, and things are going the way they are. And yeah, like someone will be, um, someone will accuse them of something, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I don't know why you would think that. And do you know what I mean? Like everyone just, it
Mm,
just depends on the certain person's beliefs, because a lot of people that actually do a lot of that stuff don't really understand or care. They just go
mm,
about their way, is from what I understand, right? And from what I've seen. Um, it's only when it's pointed out to them that when someone says, oh, well, karma's a bitch, and then they're like, what are you talking about? Right? And then they kind of tweak and go, you're full of it, and you've lost your marbles, kind of thing. But yet when they get in a car accident and then it's deemed their fault, even though it was, and they didn't think it was, they're just like, oh, well, that person, they just wanted to get money out of me. Okay. And why would you think that? You hit them. Yeah, it was just a light tap. Are you sure?
mm, mm-hmm.
Right. And then it just keeps going. And then it's like, well, actually, low impact hits are actually more hurtful than an actual higher end one, because, and yeah, they just kind of, it's almost oblivious that they don't realize anything that they did prior was a cause and effect of what's happening in their life today, right? A lot of people say, well, they're the nicest guy ever. They're a nicest person. They'll give their shirt off their back and they'll do this. And I'm like, that might be, but their actions are contrary to the nicest person there is. Like he might have the biggest heart, but the actions do not match.
You know, I got a picture that came very clear about what you just said, Joan, in terms of bad karma. So you're saying that that person is just that type of person doing the wrong thing,
Yep.
typically, not taking the high road. And when the negative karma comes back to them, I don't even realize it because that's where they're living.
Mm-hmm.
So they're never living in a higher vibration.
No.
So they're probably miserable anyway and will continue to be internally. They can be smiling, everything's great. Internally, they're not living the best life because of
Correct.
what they're
They're
doing. And it's just
they're unsettled.
they're unsettled and it just continues like that, even though they put on the facade. Look at people, it's like, how could that person do that? But they're walking around smiling and everything's great. But internally, they're probably feeling it and then some, and
Right.
struggling with whatever
Right.
that negative karma is.
Right.
Hmm.
And they're unhealthy. They're sick. They don't understand why all this stuff is coming. Again, it's being unaware and oblivious to what's going on around them, because they feel like they are actually doing good, but yet on the other hand, they're doing things to undercut them
Yeah.
so that
Yep.
they themselves can get ahead. Does that make sense?
Exactly. But they're really not getting ahead. In their
That's right.
mind, they are. But yeah, why would you want to come from a place that's all negativity? Eventually, the unfortunate thing is that negative person controls the good people around them because they're so angry or unhappy with this negative person for what they're slinging out there. And we all got to just let it go, let them go,
Right.
let them go.
And I would say so, like that, negative person would also be very vindictive, right? So they may be smiling, but then you do something or you say something, then all of a sudden you can kind of see and feel that they're in their head trying to figure out how the hell they're going to get back to you. You know what I mean? How they're going to get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you go, okay, all right. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of, it's sad to see, really, because everyone here, the world is so abundant. The world will give you whatever you want, as long as, you know, you take care of you and you take care of everyone around you. It's not a race. It's the only competition would be with yourself. And why would you compete with yourself? Right.
Well, it
So
comes back to the same. I always say the 5 words: always do the right thing. Always do the right
always.
thing. You know, as best you can. Sometimes we don't realize it, but you know when you're not doing the right thing, because I believe it's going to come back at you. And why would you want that? You should just live at that, higher vibration in doing what you believe is right. I'm one of those people, when people don't do the right thing, it just it's just
Right. That's the point where you go, I love you. I'm sorry.
yes. Oh, say that
So
again.
you're,
I need to commit to memory. How's that go again?
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Mm, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank
It
you.
doesn't have to be in that order, except for thank you has to be at the end. That's
I
it.
love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. It really does. I mean, that may call it my defect when people don't do the right thing. It's just like, why? Come on. Like it's black and white. This is the right. This is the wrong. How do you not do what you should be doing? I don't get it. I don't know.
Yes.
I just can't
I,
live that way.
I'm one of those ones where I'll look through the receipt and go, this doesn't look right. This is not right. Then I'll get to the car. I'm like, I didn't pay for this. I'll go back and I'll say, hey, you didn't charge me for this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
My kids are like, what? What? I'm like, I don't want to steal this. I said, technically, I've stolen this. I
Yeah.
said, so we need to bring this back. I either pay for it, I just get, or I give it back.
Okay. Be
So,
honest. Be honest. Now,
mhm.
do you bring that item back because it's the right thing, but also you don't want to take a chance of negative karma coming your way?
it's a, it's both,
Me too.
really, because I'm going, do I like for $5? Is it really worth it?
Exactly. Taking that chance because you don't know what's on the back end. And why do that? Because maybe something
Well,
will, right?
yeah, because what if someone stole? Because it's $5 now, right? And then what if someone stole from me? It probably won't be $5.
Yeah.
It would probably be more because the karma, it triples or it whatever itself, right? And
Mm,
so I'm just like, no, thank you, but no thank you. Or even if they give me the wrong change, because some some teenagers, they don't really pay attention and they just give you change, and I'm like, that's not right. Yeah, it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. Do you want to count that again?
yeah. And you know what? They might be on the hook for it. We don't
and
know if
and
they're right.
exactly, right?
Mhm.
Because I know when I was a teller, they would they
Mm,
would tell you, hey, someone still was out $50. It's like,
exactly. Yeah. It's funny because I went to the bank the other day, cashed a check. Um, and I usually have the same teller. And now she knows me. She didn't even ask for a password or anything like that. We just know. And she's like, Here you go." And she's got this certain confidence. And then I got a different teller. I believe he was relatively new, and he was like watching every bill. And I believe because if he's wrong, it's going to come back to him. But if I found that, he miscounted and added an extra 50 in there or whatever it might be, right away I would tell him, because I don't want him getting in trouble. And everybody makes a mistake. If that happened to me, I would want somebody to tell me. And I guess
absolutely.
maybe that's a karma thing. I don't know. Any other thoughts you have on karma in general?
Um, so the one thing, because it just occurred to me after you were talking about the forgiveness, the thing that you just did, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. You can forgive anyone, except for you don't have to forgive the actions, right? The actions, everyone's like, well, then if you forgive them, then then you say it was okay for what they did. And no, it's not. It's okay to forgive the person, but you don't have to forgive the action of
Yes.
what was done. And most people always think, well, that's part and part, but it's not, right? So karmically, if you want to say, yes, I forgave that person, but no, I don't have to accept or forgive the action,
And
right?
it's
Because the action is the action.
that's it. And you don't condone it. Essentially,
No,
you're forgiving them for you. I mean this in a high way, but the heck with them.
that's
They're
right.
done. They already did it. They don't care. They already moved on. You're dealing with them controlling you because of what they did. So that's why
Absolutely.
you got to let it go. But you don't condone what they did. It's all about you. It's not about you're done with them.
Absolutely. Because I'm going to tell you, they're not losing any sleep
No.
about it. And most of the people that are upset about it and everything, they're still losing sleep over it for forgiving them. But the other person, I'm going to tell you, the other person's totally long gone and forgot about it. And they don't care.
They don't care.
And
No,
my friends are like, what? That's kind of rude. I'm like, it's true. I
it's
said,
true.
you're the one losing sleep. I said, so you need to let this go. I said, because they've long gone. I said, they don't even probably realize they did that. So you need to just leave it be because it doesn't matter anymore.
And why? Because they have bad karma.
That's right. Right. But we can't think that they've got it. Right. Because again, that's
Mm,
okay, I need to, I'm sorry.
okay, I'm
Please
sorry. I
forgive me.
forgive you.
I love you.
I love
Not
you.
I forgive you. Please forgive me.
Please forgive me. Oh.
Right?
And
So
thank you. And thank you.
yeah, and thank you. Right? Because
Yeah.
it's all about because it doesn't really matter because we have to come to this place where whatever their actions are their actions and it shouldn't affect us whatsoever. And if it does a little bit, then even us getting angry at them to do whatever or in the moment going, oh, like that's that's our own karma. That has nothing to do with them, even though we reacted to their actions
Why do
because
people
it's
do those
our
things?
actions.
Why do people, I mean, it's I guess an odd question. Why do people do bad things? Is it just they're wired that way? Do they not realize that they're doing it? They don't care? Why do you think in general?
In general, I think it's either they weren't taught that was
Hmm.
bad. They only know what they know is best for them, right? So if they grew up in a household that went, dog eat dog, the survival of the fittest. So if that's how it works for them, that's how it did. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
so their values and beliefs weren't given in that sense. So in their mind's eye, they have done nothing wrong,
Hmm.
right? And so it's other people and like that judge and perceive that that's a wrongness, right? And so when we can come to a term within ourselves that okay, well, because we don't know where they came from, we don't know, right? Maybe that was their last, you know, if they were yelling at a teller and they were going, why, this is the wrong price, blah, 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 being verbally abusive. We don't know if that was their last money that they're using to have that, right?
Hmm.
So even though their behavior isn't good, but we don't know where they're coming from. So everything is really based on our own.
And it's what you're saying is interesting, Joan, in that even if you know somebody well, let's say you've known somebody for years, and maybe they don't do the right thing sometimes. You don't know how they were brought up. You might have an idea, but you don't know
Right?
exactly what was instilled in them, their beliefs, their morals, all of that. You weren't there. You're not in there.
Correct.
You don't know. Yeah.
That is
Mm,
correct, right? So we
mm.
don't know. So they are living life to the best that they know to be true and how it works,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Just like we do.
Mm.
So that's why we have to say, it's like, why would you do that? you have to take a step back and go, okay, well, wait, that's their life, not my life. And then now, because I judged them, I'm sorry, I love you. Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I mean, what I'm getting from this and what you believe is that when somebody does things that aren't the right thing, it's not like the karma police are knocking at the door. The karma train's not going to be pulling up. They're probably not going to even realize that their life sucks in
That's
many
correct.
regards, or they're not realizing that their life could really be better and they could feel more whole, more fulfilled, more joy inside if they knew the other side of things. They just gravitate to what they do, and they don't really think it's bad.
Absolutely.
They don't maybe they don't
Absolutely.
realize how bad it is.
Right. And even their health could be way better also,
Mm.
because they're not carrying all that negativity and all that hurtfulness and everything within their bodies. Right.
Or they may not notice the things that are around them that are happening and just thinking, well, that's just life. That's just life. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the universe circling around them, providing these things, whatever they might be,
That's right. Right. It's just like looking what's in front of you right now, right here, right now, instead of looking at the distance, in the future, or what happened in the past, right? Like it's never in the moment. Everything is always like, I got to check, make sure, like always watching my back, things like that. Yeah.
You opened my eyes up to karma. You really did. I had a perceived vision of it, but now I see it in a different way. We're on the same page, but in terms of bad karma coming back to you for doing the wrong thing, never looked at it in that way. Those are people that just don't realize it. The impact. They probably know it's wrong, but they don't know the level of wrong because that's just them.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
But at the same token, we might feel it's wrong, but is it really wrong? Because it depends on what the situation is, because it could be just a perception.
This is true. I had this talk with a friend recently, and while everybody agreed that a situation was wrong, this one friend said, it's kind of a moral call. It's a moral situation. I see their point. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm open to seeing what they were saying.
Right.
But I also gravitate to if 10 people say it's just wrong, and one person says, I gotta go on the other side.
That's true, right?
The scale got tipped.
Exactly, right? It's also sometimes on the scale, though, it could be a societal perception.
Yeah.
Right? Versus, is it really? But again, it also depends what's going on in their life. And so that's why for the, karma's a bitch kind of thing, we can't really typically say that because we don't know what's going on. And so for us to say that to them, that would mean we are inviting it back to us.
Well, what was this again? Oh, yeah.
When you point,
yeah,
you're pointing, one finger's pointing at them, but three are pointing back at you.
I love you, but I hate you because you're right. But that's why you're an intuitive life coach and clairvoyant medium and a Reiki master and more, and provide clarity in a lot of different situations. If somebody wants to get that clarity and even just get better view of things, even like karma, your website, easy to find, Joan Widen, Widen, joanwiden.com. It's always great talking with you. It really is.
Always great. I enjoy it very much.
And how does that go? I forgive.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me. I love you.
I love
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you. We'll talk next time. Okay.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.